Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and recently Rogues got some adjustments done for the patch 7.0.3, a few hotfixes on August 8th, and somebody on the stream brought it up for me. They changed out the Outlaw Rogue Roll the Bones and how it functions. They changed some of the damage math for some of the abilities for Outlaw Rogue, and they kind of nerfed a Sanguinate for Assassination. And I basically just wanted to get on today's video and talk with you guys about all these changes that happen, the nerfs and the buffs and whatnot, all the adjustments that happen. Just talk to you guys through exactly what's going on with Rogues and where Blizzard's taking it. I got a PM, and that's how I learned about the nerfs that happen, or I guess adjustments is what I would call it. I got a PM asking me, "Hey, Dalaran, so how do you feel about the fact that Roll the Bones is completely useless?" And they didn't basically say verbatim completely useless, but they did say kind of hint at the idea that, hey, how is your puppy doing after his death, kind of deal. How are you feeling about the death of a puppy? They made it sound like it's something awful or just bigger than it really was. It's just slight adjustments, and I just wanted to make sure that if there's somebody that believes, like, there's something that, that's, oh, it's the worst thing to ever happen to Outlaw Rogues, when it's actually just like, oh, it's not that bad, I just want to be able to be the guy to clear the air, because I do make a lot of the Outlaw Rogue videos, and I'm been told that I've influenced people to like, hey, because of you I've been playing Outlaw Rogue and I've been enjoying it. And if I am an influence of a model, I guess, for some people, I do want to make sure that I keep the air as clean as possible here when talking about buffs and nerfs and all that. First of all, I want to get this out of the way. The Assassination Rogues did get a nerf to one talent, which is like Sanguinate. Talent of the Sanguinate used to speed up your bleeds by 400%, then nerfed it down to 100. The idea behind it was, and I can kind of see what Blizzard is doing with it, damage over time is supposed to be a lot of damage, but it's split into increments of ticking for a certain portion of it every few seconds. So then classes like healers and DPS are, let's say if somebody's hit with a huge massive dot, chances are if they don't have defenses, they still are going to die. But it is different compared to like slamming someone for 1 million damage or hitting someone for 1 million damage worth of a dot that incrementally ticks away at their life. It does kind of find the balance in the game and allows healers and defensive abilities and self-heals to be able to be used in order to find a bit of balance in the game, counteracting and such. Basically, we want to reduce the tick rate of Exsanguinated because the bleeds for Assassination are really strong, especially your Rupture. And when they tick at 400%, you basically, it's almost like if a Reflection Warlock, instead of putting Corruption damage over time, instead, every time they hit you with Corruption, it hit for like full damage without dot tick. Like they're hitting you for what, 300k worth of health. That's like if they were spamming global 300k corruption back to back. Instead, they have it as a damage over time, which they have to wait and let it tick to put pressure, and then it kind of equalizes the game. So slow down the rate of Exsanguinate, not a bad idea. It does open up more opportunities for other talents in that same field. I think it's not a bad, I don't think it's a game-breaking change. Assassination and Exsanguinate was a little bit stronger in ability. Let's talk a bit about Outlaw Rogue abilities. Run-through damage has been increased by 25%. Solid, and I was able to feel it from playing today on the beta. Run-through damage has been increased, but also between the eyes damage has been increased by 18%. I also felt that one. Increase the damage of run-through between the eyes. I'm thinking, okay, so there's must have been something that nerfed recently. And they did nerf a few buffs for Roll the Bones. They nerfed the chance for Saber Slash to hit it again for Jolly Roger from 40 down to 25%. They nerfed Buried Treasure energy regeneration from 40% down to 25% as well. They nerfed Shark Infested Waters from 40% chance increase to 25%. They buffed Grand Melee attack speed to 50% originally from 40 and Leech to 25% originally from 20. And Slice and Dice now increase the attack speed by 100 instead of 90. So, on one hand, you're looking at, oh, there's so many nerfs, I can't play Outlaw anymore, terrible spec, I quit. And on one hand, it's like, wow, we got a solid buffs to Between the Eyes and Run Through, which we use kind of often, so as damage increase. And then there was nerfs to Roll the Bones. What is Blizzard doing? Blizzard didn't nerf Outlaw for the most part. In most cases, you'll be still dealing the same amount of damage. They just nerfed the just how much of a reliance you have on Roll the Bones. Imagine like a druggie, like always needs fix, and that's basically how an Outlaw Rogue are. You're trying to get Shark Infested Waters, you're trying to get Jolly Roger, you're trying to get Buried Treasure, you're trying to get all the specific buffs in order to deal damage. Outlaw Rogue isn't supposed to be played in terms of, hey, just keep rolling the buffs until you get the right one, and then burst once you have the right buff, kind of like a junkie. Just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and once you get the big high, just go down the hill and slide down through it. It's supposed to be all about roll the bones, and then whatever buffs you get are all supposed to be damage buff increases, so they reduced the reliability on or the necessity to have Shark-Infested Waters or Buried Treasure or Jolly Roger in order to have solid damage increases. And while they did nerf the capabilities of those buffs, they did flat out buff your run through and between the eyes. They didn't buff your damage overall by a certain percentage, instead they made it so a good Outlaw Rogue will utilize the run throughs in between the eyes far more often than some of the other ones, so it kind of balances damage out rather than a nerf. At least that's what I would argue for. Basically, Blizzard is trying to make Outlaw Rogues a little bit less reliant and less, obsessed with rolling the right buffs and utilizing whatever buffs you are given. And for the longest time, I've been preaching the idea that, hey, as an Outlaw Rogue, instead of just re-rolling your buffs over and over and over, just keep rolling and rolling, however the fuck that song goes anymore. Instead of rolling the buffs over and over and over, just roll the buffs and work with the buffs you are given. And sometimes there are some cases where you might want to re-roll, but the idea is you can utilize every single buff you're given and just do fine with it. It's all about adjusting your playstyle to the buffs, not having to force, buffs to roll over and over and over until you get the right one. It's not supposed to be about, trying to just have a tug of war with the RNG of the buffs. It's more about utilizing the buffs that you're given without having to have this amazing RNG to influence every single decision, every single step of Outlaw Rogue. And that is the way I'm thinking that Blizzard is kind of going for when it comes to roll the bones. But let me know what you guys think about the buffs, the nerfs, and the balancing that happened. Let me know what you think about Exsanguinate nerf, that I do feel like that's a decent nerf. And what do you think about the Outlaw Rogue balancing, which I'm putting quotation marks, balancing? Do you think that's a buff or do you think that's a nerf? Now, I'm going to go bed. I had 4 hours of sleep for the day. I even streamed, so I don't even know how the hell I am up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Dalray, and I'll see you guys in the next one.